Pick me, pick me, pick me. Anybody know that feeling? Anybody ever been in that situation where you're just like anxious, needing to get picked? Welcome to the Results Kill Excuses show. I'm your host, Greg. I've been talking about life. Right? I've been trying to reach men that are out there suffering in silence. I am here today giving this message. Why? Because I didn't take my life on the darkest nights, the darkest days, and even the darkest years, man. I've had some dark years. I chose to just persevere and to get through it. But listen, 2,000 men today on this beautiful planet will choose death over another day of life. This is tragic. This is urgent. And that's why I keep getting on here as I communicate about the healing, spiritual awakening journey that I have been on to truly transform myself from the inside out over the course of a dozen years. First hitting rock bottom, then taking extreme ownership, then saying, I got to release these vices. No more drinking, no more getting high. It's time to start doing life on life's terms. And that's where it begins. That is the beginning. That doesn't mean that's the end. Holy shit. For some of you, you wish that could be the end of your nightmare, the end of your pain, the end of your suffering. Would be if you could just figure out a way to take responsibility of your life, the strength to like not hit the escape routes of saying, man, I don't feel comfortable. Something's uncomfortable in me. Something's not right. I need this. I need that. I need more of this. And none of those things bring about what we truly desire in this life. And that's peace. We want to be at peace with ourselves. We want to feel proud of ourselves. We want to be happy, joyful. We want to like feel this like energy that wells up from the depths of who we are to just let us feel like, man, like everything's okay. Everything is wonderful and not needing anything on the external, whether it be just ecstasy or mushrooms. I mean, nada. Nothing. Just you, God, and the universe, right? To just feel like, man, this is incredible. This experience is so incredible. But yet so many humans, so many of you are suffering right now, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And I am here to try and inspire change within you through sharing my experience, my story. And it's refreshing to be here. It's worth it. If you're not here, you can be here because you are here. And you also have everything you need to survive. You need everything you need to thrive. You have everything. What am I saying? You have everything that you need to be successful right here and right now. You lack nothing other than just a belief in self, to trust yourself. Do you believe that? Do you believe that you could truly turn your life around, that you could actually accomplish anything? You can accomplish an incredible fitness goal, a nutrition goal, a health goal, a financial goal, a life goal. I mean, anything you put your heart and mind to and really put effort into with pure intentions, right? You can accomplish it. Is it going to be instant? That's the problem. That's the problem, right? That's the problem. You want it instant. You want it right now. I'm with you. I wish that it could be just, snap the fingers. If I could snap the fingers and wave the magic wand, I would give you your dreams. But the one thing I've learned along this healing journey and just 45 years of life, 12 years of sobriety and healing and living life with intention is that I still wish that it could be easy, but that is wishing. I am doing the hard. That's the difference. It's not, there's nothing wrong with saying, I wish it was easy. right? I could also wish my life was different. I wish I didn't get so caught up on depression, and I wish that I didn't have to experience the trauma I did at such an early age. I wish that I didn't become an alcoholic and ever get introduced to alcohol. I wish I was a more secure man in my early relationships. I wish I had a father in my life growing up. I mean, wish. It's fine to say I wish it was easier. That'd be great. That's great. But I've kind of been acknowledged by incredible people like you for have said saying this quote the other day. If it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. Let that sink in. What do you think about that? If it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. How do you receive that? Does that does that make you uncomfortable thinking about that? Does it challenge your beliefs? Does it really push you past a place where you're like, all right, I'm out of here. This guy's too much. That's okay if I'm too much. I know. I'm here to encourage you, inspire you, cheer for you, but I'm also going to challenge you to your core because that's what I've experienced. To get to this place, I was challenged to my core. And by the grace of God and by the will and the life force inside of me, I did not hit delete when it would have been so easy, man. It would have been so easy. And yet there it is, 2,000 men, 4 times more likely than women to kill themselves. And the crazy thing is even the older men are doing it even more and more rapidly. It's tragic. And I'm here to do something about it. And that's speak my truth, tell my story, reach men, share this loving experience from my heart, knowing that if it's helped me, right, I now have a tremendous amount of experience. And it's not even just myself. I've helped hundreds upon hundreds of people. I've mentored, coached, inspired change in many people. And I'm here to do the same for who? You. You. Yes, you. If you're watching this, it's not an accident. There's no accidents in watching this, in being aligned, in this message finding you. Stay tuned. We have such a short attention span that we can't really even just like sit there and listen, especially to something that's going to speak life over us. And that's what I do here. It's a spiritual message because we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And yet, today is a symbolic day in my life. And it's not even a day, it's not even my day. It's just today is my ex girlfriend's birthday. And this person touched my life in a way like never before in terms of deep like spiritual love. It was weird from the first date. I'm telling you, we both just like felt this lightning in a bottle, man, just magnetic, attractive, like just this flood of feelings and emotions at just such a deep level. And it was kind of funny, this first date we had, I remember telling her, "All right, if you could have one of 2 options, right? From this point forward, we say, you know what? Let's just be friends and we get to keep each other in each other's lives for the rest of our life, right? Supporting each other, cheering, platonic, soulmate type shit. Or we could have the most incredible relationship for 20 years and then it ends in like misery." And she chose the latter. That romance, man, that romance, right? Fuck, that romance. And again, that was through a limiting belief of mine, which, I when I met this person, I was fairly under a year from being divorced after a 21-year marriage. So that's sort of like where that second question came from. And I just knew that there was something really special about this person that was in front of me. And we went on to have this wild and crazy 18-month relationship that was just the highest of highs, but the lowest of lows, man. And we tried everything we could to keep it together. And it broke us, both of us. And it's so crazy because I thought that, I'd finally found my person and that, but yet when you meet these type of spiritual people that have this spiritual alignment, it's so crazy because there's things that are inside of us that when we meet a certain type of person, it brings it out. And so we think we don't even have that anymore because it's like hibernating inside of us that we think, "Oh, I'm good. I've healed that or I've moved beyond that." And then you meet a person and they trigger it and it's like, "Oh, it's uncontrollable." It's so painful. Fuck, it's so fucking painful. And that really I continue to still see that through the lens of like this twin flame thing. So if any of you are kind of if you've never heard of twin flame things, well, I won't get any further, but if you have, then I think you probably know what I'm talking about. And this, yeah, you're still watching. But why do I bring up a relationship like that is because I know so many men and women, right? It's this, I think this is the same. We want someone to pick us. We're like, please pick me, please pick me. And that's where this comes from is like, I felt like the universe, I felt like God had picked us for each other. And in a certain way, that was the case. God did pick us for each other, but it was for us to trigger all of this new awakening so that we could then transcend and transform and heal. And unfortunately, there was fallout, there was heartbreak, and through that heartbreak, through the seasons after, the years after, I mean, it's been the most transformational years of my life. And so that's a real difficult thing is when you think that you've met your person and yet God has a different plan, at least up until this point, right? Of just saying like you can't be waiting for someone to pick you. You can't be waiting. You can, right? You can wait, but you'll probably wait for forever or you'll settle. And to kind of feel like you're being picked, but in reality, you're trying to pick someone because it's better than no one. Ugh, I can't do that. I won't do that. I've healed beyond that. I'm telling you, I used to be the most codependent, and it's all based in my trauma, right? It was all based in the childhood trauma. Me and mom trauma bonding because of the abuse that we had to survive through. Um, and then that created codependency. She was the only sense of safety and security in my life. And thus, when she started another family, I was abandoned. And then I just continued to play that out in my partner selection, was trying to replace mom at a subconscious level. And that's where this conversation gets so deep because this is what's going on. This is how I have had to awaken and heal and embrace what is really at the root of all of my suffering, all of my bad feelings, all of the emotions. And again, it did take me hitting that rock bottom. It did take me taking extreme ownership because I have fucked up a lot in my life. And I don't, I'm still releasing guilt, shame, and regret. But with that said, I've learned how to do life on life's terms. And I've also learned that, right, the number one thing in life is for us to pick ourselves, for you to pick you, right? Are you worthy of being picked by yourself? Do you consider yourself? Because how are you gonna expect someone else to pick you if you don't even pick yourself? If you don't really love yourself, how the heck can you expect someone to love you? But yet so many of us, that is our reality. We think someone else is supposed to bring us our happiness and bring us our love and bring us our bliss because we have codependency issues. What we don't feel okay. We do not have a good self-image. And I can just remember, like, hopefully this whole conversation does sort of trigger some of the hurt feelings that we had as kids when they said, "All right, pick your teams." And who the heck ever wanted to get picked last? We, you know, I mean, I can always my situation very few times was I picked last, and if I was, it was because the captains were probably people I didn't like, or we were kind of arch rivals or some weird shit like that. But usually I was picked first, like the top one or two. Like if it was definitely a competitive sports thing, I was usually one of the top picks. And I've been picked like that in different drafts as well too, athletically, being the number one pick. And yet that there's a lot of pressure on that. But then it's having empathy for the person that is always the last to be picked. It was like the scraps, and it's just like we've all maybe you're that person. Are you that person? Right. And how did that mess you up growing up if you're someone that was always picked last? Because even it doesn't matter if you were picked last or picked first or somewhere in between, there's insecurity from all of us. Because even when someone has this expectation like me, I was always expected, I'm gonna be number one. If I'm not number one on your team, I'm number one on your team for sure. And yet when I don't get picked, and it does happen, it happens a lot, and that's okay, right? I've learned to pick myself first, and if someone else doesn't pick me, that's okay. Rejection is protection. I trust God. And it doesn't make it easy. It just means that I'm gonna just keep showing up and making plays, doing life on life's terms, finding the things that build me up, fill me up, energetically speaking, in a positive way. And I'm going to make sure that I continue to avoid the escape routes. And by the escape routes, I am talking about when I feel emotionally vulnerable, uncomfortable, overwhelmed, or anything that is like that, that I don't have to run towards a vice. I don't have to go get drunk. I don't have to get high. I don't want to turn to porn. I don't want to sit there and binge eat or binge watch. Right? I want to sit in the dang uncomfortableness of who I am and know that my emotions know me better than me. And that if I can just sit there and validate my emotions, get to the root of what am I feeling and why, what's coming up, and it's usually not even in the context of the now. This is like old shit that keeps coming up. We have to look for these loops, these circular patterns in our life, so that we can realize that it's God's way of trying to show you that, look, you need to address this. And it's usually not in the current. This is rooted in the childhood trauma, the shit you went through, survived through, but it just shows up in the now. So just like me, it's like if I had all this trauma when I was a little boy with my mom, and then I get married, and the woman that I'm marrying is kind of reflective of my mom's type of qualities, and then yet I'm really at a subconsciously just trying to replace my mom with this woman, and she can't be my savior. She can't be my rock. I'm supposed to be the rock because I'm supposed to be the motherfucking man. Right? It's all twisted. It is all twisted when we're dealing with that type of energetic subconscious connections that we don't even have awareness of. That's the importance of this message right now. This whole message, like if you're new here, man, I really recommend like going back into some of the longer format recordings. And if the titles maybe connect with you, like sit there and watch this shit. I'm coming from the right place. I don't give two shits about going viral. I just want to build a solid core community of like minded people that are truly set on healing themselves spiritually, right? Mentally, emotionally, and physically, right? Those four ways that you're willing to do whatever it takes to trust yourself, to believe in yourself, to love yourself, and then to what? Share that with everyone around you. That's the process. It's not I feel like shit about myself. My self-image is shit, but if I could just meet the right person, then everything's going to be okay. That's not how it works. I had someone send me something yesterday asking for my input about, some meme out there about how, two people fall in love and is it possible for them to both heal and grow and just like this fairy tale type situation where they're basically both broken people and somehow they're going to heal and grow together. It's like, is that possible? Anything's possible. But what is the likelihood that two people that have a lot of unhealed trauma, a lot of emotional wounding, what is the probability that those two people think they have found the answer to their problems in another person? Do you guys get where I'm going with this? What is the likelihood that when two people have that don't feel whole and complete, right? Because they're not already fully in love, putting in the work, they're still searching for the answer outside, that when they meet that person, right? That they literally stop the self-work, that they literally put that other person on the pedestal, make that other person the center of their life, and eventually that shit wears off. Because someone has to say, "Okay, where are we headed?" Our whole life can't just be about loving each other. Like, are you doing anything with your life? Am I doing anything with my life? Are we gonna still keep working on ourselves the way that we said we were? Or are we just now complacent, doing shit, getting out of shape, more and more unhealthy habits, making our life focused on pleasure versus purpose? I've experienced that. I've experienced meeting somebody and then as I just saw 222 go up, that's kind of feeling like validation, especially when you think about unions and connections. I think I'm speaking truth here. Is that it's so easy that when, you're like, if you're in the heartbreak, post breakup, I'm going to work on myself mode. And some of us have been there for a really long time and it's getting depressing, right? Because you're like, fuck, but don't lose hope. Keep loving yourself. Like this, I used to think that the singularity was just about me, but look around. Not everyone. I don't like to use generalities. There is a huge amount of people that have been separated, put into places of separation to heal, so that probably you have a calling on this planet to usher in this next evolution of our planetary existence. But you have to put in the work on yourself. And I have seen myself even recently getting into a relationship at the end of last year. And then this other person wasn't as physically active, not really into the gym. And guess what? Like I started going out and eating more, doing less at the gym. When I weighed myself at the first of the year, I was not proud of what the number I saw. It was not acceptable to me. And yet I thought, this person was going to be the right person. And, it's right away. It's like I started compromising all kinds of values. And so there was misalignment there. And again, we just are like so like wanting to be picked that we'll compromise. We'll compromise. When was the last time you compromised yourself because you were so needing to get picked? As long as I've been on this healing journey, it wasn't that long ago that I was still compromising. But every experience I think brings out another version of myself to then test and reinforce and reestablish the fact that how have I grown? Where do I still need to improve? Right? That's the whole thing is like putting in the work is never done, but some of us do have this fairy tale thing of just when you meet the person, you see it all the time. When two people, they fall in love, they get married, and then it's like, what do we do now? What now? Go to work, have kids, grow farther apart, less love, less romance, less dating, less intimacy. Like, it's just like, what the heck? We are so terrible at maintenance because, again, we want to be picked. And once we're picked, then we feel like we've arrived. We could drop our packs and just be like, oh, cool, I'm here. When it's like, no, every single day you need to work on yourself. And that is, I think, the most important part of this time and space. And so if you're struggling being alone, that should be telling you that there's more that you need to work on with the relationship you have with yourself. There's areas that you need to focus on. And the more that you focus on those areas to heal and grow, trust me, like the person will show up. I believe that the person will show up. I have trust in that. Yeah. It's hard some days. It's hard to trust that because here's the difficult thing. If you're watching this show, if you're listening to this type of content, that tells me that you're on a healing path, you're on a spiritual awakening journey. And if you're anything like me, which I hope you are, in terms of every single day, you're trying to get 1%, 1 inch better, just a little better every day. And so who can keep up with that other than other people doing this? And it's not widespread yet, right? It's not mass population of people going through the healing, ego deaths, spiritual awakening. It's still a pretty small community of people doing that. And so I'll finish closing with this law of attraction thing, because this is something that I've learned, especially if I'm speaking to other healers, is throughout the journey, right? Okay, I had the divorce, boom, started getting into dating again, met someone special, 18 months, highs, lows, total heartbreak, right? And then a few years of singularity of just saying, I'm going to really do some deeper work, right? Because I just, if that wasn't it, holy shit, man, like I need to do more work. But I did come up for air a few times and I would check and I did realize that I was attracting in healthier people working on themselves, but it wasn't quite what I had written down, right? And if you haven't done this, do this. And I'll talk about that in a minute about the writing exercise. But I kept seeing that, getting closer, getting better. Okay, not quite it. And then what I've realized in terms of the law of attraction, not only do we attract who we are, right? So who you are is who you're attracting. So when you're calling somebody a narcissist, y'all don't want to hear this. I know you don't want to hear it, but it's truth. If you're saying, hey, this person was a narcissist, you are in total denial of your feminine dark energy or masculine dark energy. Period. You are in denial of who you truly are inside. Like attracts like. So here's the thing. But the other side of that is not only do you call in who you are, you call in who needs you for who you are. I'll say that again. You call in people that need you for who you are, which is a wounded healer, a healing energy. And a lot of times these people will be so in love with you and they're really just, they want that energy that's on you, when really maybe they just need to be there, right, for a season, right, or for a lifetime. And so for a reason, for a season, or for a lifetime, those three things, I kind of believe there's a lot of truth in that. But one of the writing exercise you can do if you're kind of needing to get picked, right, and you want to be picked by the right one. And the way you get picked by the right one, you guys, is by picking yourself and is becoming the right one. So here, how do you do that? Right here. Thank you for staying till the end. This is how you do that. On a piece of paper, you write out everything that you could imagine in your dream person, in the best partner you can imagine, all the characteristics, you know, are they sexy? Are they kind? Are they benevolent? Are they thoughtful? Are they, forgiving? Are they soft? Are they loving? Whatever it is, man, just all of these characteristics that you desire in somebody. Are they successful? Whatever it is. Like really put down, create your perfect person that you want to find you, to pick you. And do you know what's coming next? You have to become that person. Yes, you have to become that person. And that is where so many of us, we don't wanna do that. We can see somebody else, but we're like, "Wait, I gotta be all this?" Yes, if you're a man and you're, like, fucking a badass dude, you gotta become sexy, you have to become kind, you have to become softer, right? If that's what you're seeking in a woman, and that's just making you more well-rounded. Becoming the best version of you is having a balance of the masculine and the feminine energies within. Right? And that's one area where on this healing journey, I have grown exponentially is deepening the roots of my masculinity, but unleashing, right, the wells of the feminine energy to really connect with those emotions and not run, to sit in them, to communicate with them, to find words, to speak life into the emotions that I'm feeling. And that's a powerful thing. That makes you really, really, really magnetic and powerful. So I send you guys blessings. Thank you so much for listening today. I'm so grateful to be here, to be seen and heard by you. I extend that to you as well. Be seen and be heard. Comment down below, share this message, get the word out, subscribe, and at the very least, keep showing up for you. I'll be back here because I choose life today. And I thank you for being here. You know the drill. Results kill excuses, where you turn sick and tired into optimal and unstoppable. Greg's out.